Hello, everyone, all my dearies out there. How have you been? I am your English mentor, Sana ma'am. Hope you know me by now. Yes, I hope I'm perfectly audible and visible. Let's have a quick check. Yes, people out there. Yeah, hope I'm perfectly audible and visible. Okay, so I welcome you to Super Grads, and of course, this is a big day because this is the day where we are going to do one short revision for IPMAT Rohtak, right? I am very, very optimistic, class, that you are going to learn a lot today, right? This is going to be a slightly exhausting session. It is going to be a test of your preparation. It's going to be a test of your tenacity, right? लग के तुम कितनी देर बैठ सकते हो? Let's solve a wonderful question paper that I have curated specially for you, keeping in mind the kind of question that I've been appearing in IPMAT Rohtak exam. Okay. Now the point here is, कई बार बच्चे जो है रोहतक को लेके परेशान इसलिए भी रहते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स उसके जो ऑफिशियल पेपर्स हैं वो रिलीज नहीं करता पिछले कुछ सालों से सो व्हाइल स्टूडेंट्स हैव अ फेयर आइडिया अबाउट व्हाट आर द टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस दैट कम बट देन द डिफिकल्टी लेवल and perfectly emulating the paper, rather the perfect simulation that you look for, that is hard to find, and that is the reason why we are here today again helping our students, right, to ace it. तो इसीलिए आपकी प्रेपरेशन में एकदम चार चांद लगाने, एकदम लास्ट लैप ऑफ योर प्रेपरेशन को हेल्प करने के लिए, सपोर्ट करने के लिए मैं आज यहाँ पे हूँ. ओके क्लास, एंड यस, लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब, शेयर इट विद योर फ्रेंड्स. मोर एंड मोर स्टूडेंट्स जॉइन मी. सिट डाउन विद योर पेन एंड पेपर और ये प्रण लो कि यार जब तक ये सेशन खत्म नहीं होगा हिलेंगे नहीं, और हर एक क्वेश्चन एकदम डेडिकेशन के साथ में, परसिवेरेंस के साथ में क्रैक करेंगे. तुमसे बने या ना बने, दैट इज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट, राइट? यस विक्रांत, यू आर आस्किंग मी अ वेरी पर्टिनेंट क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज द लेवल आप यही आज देख लेंगे. ठीक है, सो लेवल के बारे में ही आपको अंदाजा देना है और साथ में क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करते जाएंगे, तो यू विल बी एबल टू असेस द लेवल फेयरली वेल. ऑलराइट, सो एक आउटलाइन सिंपली सी ये रहेगी कि जो रोहतक का पेपर होता है, verbal ability का पेपर is not a very difficult one, but yes, it is very much vocabulary dominated. ठीक है, the idea is कि इसमें ना vocab का बहुत ज्यादा खेल है, एंड उतना मैं बोलूंगी कि इंदौर में डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस नहीं आएंगे सिनोनिम्स पे, एंटोनिम्स पे, वन वर्ड सब्स्टिट्यूशन पे, यहाँ पे आएंगे. सो इफ यू गुड विद vocabulary, this paper is for you. But apart from that, grammar हुआ, it's not very difficult. Idioms वगैरह भी कोई बहुत मुश्किल नहीं आते. And yes, passages, they are, I would say, easy to moderate. If you compare it with IPMAT Indore, certainly the passages are more doable here. Para-jumbles, easy, right? So it's going to be a nice mix. Let's dive into it, right? बहुत हो गया suspense. अब हम start करते हैं पहला question. ये क्या है? वन वर्ड सब्स्टिट्यूशन है, राइट? जहां पे आपको पूरा मीनिंग दिया हुआ है ना, और आपको उसके लिए एक वर्ड चूज करना है. यस पीपल आउट देयर, सो ऑल ऑफ यू आउट देयर, श्याम, आन्हा, प्राची, समय, तनिष्क, ऑल ऑफ यू, हेलो वंस अगेन, खुशी, ऋषभ, समय, विक्रांत, ऑल ऑफ यू, सब लोग मेरे साथ साथ फटाफट सॉल्व करते चलो. अ स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ समथिंग, क्या होना चाहिए इसका आंसर? ओके, यस, ऑल राइट, वेरी नाइस, वेरी नाइस. Some of you have given me the right answer, but not everybody. The answer is modicum. एंड यू नो व्हाट, इस वर्ड को आज तुम ऐसे याद करने वाले हो कि तुमसे कभी नहीं भूलोगे. दैट इज माय वर्ड टू यू, राइट? मीनवाइल आई विल एक्सप्लेन द मीनिंग ऑफ ईच एंड एवरी ऑप्शन आउट देयर, राइट? स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ एनीथिंग वुड बी मॉडिकम, राइट? अ वेरी लिमिटेड अमाउंट, नॉट अ ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ कोर्स. इसको याद करने के लिए मैंने बनाया था एक निमोनिक, एंड ट्रस्ट मी क्लास, ये जो निमोनिक्स होते हैं, जो मेमोरी एड होते हैं, दे हेल्प यू सो मच इन रिमेंबरिंग द वर्ड. दे वर्क लाइक एंकर्स. कोई ना कोई ट्रिक से वर्ड को याद करने की कोशिश. तो मैंने यहाँ पे जो कम है ना, इसको मैंने कम ऐसे याद कर लिया, तो कम है, ये तो थोड़ा सा है. Isn't that fun? I think whatever way you use to remember the words, just use that technique so that हमारा end result जो है ना, end result should be achieved, and the end result is that we must be able to remember a word, right? We must develop a good vocabulary. Now some of you might be thinking मेरी vocab अच्छी नहीं है, अब मैं क्या करूं? No worries. Whatever you know, I'm sure you know a few words at least, right? Keep brushing them up. Fine. And at the same time, keep taking mocks. You still have a couple of days, right? And in every mock, in every test, whatever new words you come across, you can at least try to memorize them. That's not a big deal, है ना? कुछ तो देना यार. हम तो एग्जाम में, स्कूल एग्जाम में, याद नहीं आपको एकदम लास्ट नाइट में क्या 3-3 4-4 बजे तक जाग जाग के पढ़ाई करते थे. लास्ट नाइट फुल फाइट. ओके, सो हम रोज आना till the time our paper actually approaches, every day try to at least learn something. And most importantly, बहुत ज्यादा phenomenal अब change vocab में हो नहीं सकता आपके, so you can concentrate on portions that you know well, right? Okay, coming back to this particular question, who is a maverick? A maverick is a non-conformist, somebody who does not conform to the norms of the society. ये वो लोग होते हैं जो अलग ही चलते हैं, जो सोसाइटी के नॉर्म्स और ट्रेडिशंस को फ्लाउट करते हैं. ओके, एंड यू नो व्हाट, मेवरिक के साथ में मैंने एसोसिएशन टेक्निक यूज की थी एंड आई मेड दिस वंडरफुल निमोनिक. मेवरिक माइकल. आई एम हियर रेफरिंग टू आवर ओन माइकल जैक्सन. ठीक है ना? Okay, there's a question. Yes, Vikrant. If someone is stuck in questions of vocabulary or something, how to make a gentle mark that will avoid a wild tries. Okay. Now listen. आप क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो तो मैं आपको एक चीज बताऊं. देखो, पहली बात है vocab में, if you don't know a word at all, there's no chance you can get it right, but still you can make some smart guesses. Fine. सुनना मेरी बात ध्यान से, बहुत बहुत पते की बात है. अगर synonym antonym का क्वेश्चन है, मान लो synonym का क्वेश्चन है and a word is given and you know I've been given 4 options. Sometimes I may be lucky कि चारों के मतलब मुझे नहीं पता, but I know the original word's meaning and there is an option which looks good to me in the sense मुझे लग रहा है हाँ इसका कुछ इसी टाइप का मतलब होता था. So if I feel that yes, I have seen this word somewhere and I think I understand this is close to the original meaning, I can give it a try. But then sometimes it can also be of the kind कि आपको synonym पूछा गया है and एक word आपको लग रहा है negative, बाकी के 3 word लग रहे हैं आपको positive. यानी कि 3 words आपको similar लग रहा है और एक बिल्कुल opposite लग रहा है. वो तो opposite वाला जो है ना, वो आंसर हो सकता है. मतलब ऑड वन आउट की तरह से आप कभी कभी अप्रोच कर सकते हैं, बट हमेशा ये ट्रिक वर्क करेगी, देयर इज नो गारंटी, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली तो यही है, देयर इज नो शॉर्टकट टू इंग्लिश, राइट? इंग्लिश है भाई, इफ यू नो द मीनिंग ऑफ द वर्ड देन ओनली यू कैन फाइंड आउट इट्स सिनोनिम, राइट? सो दैट इज देयर. So the idea is if your vocabulary is very, very bad, what you can do is you can, win or salvage some marks from grammar, from passages, from parajumbles, from spellings. Spellings में भी अगर वो word आपने पहले कभी नहीं देखा है, there is no way you can actually figure out the spelling. So I would then discourage you from, trying flukes. तुक्के नहीं मारना है. देखो, wild guess नहीं मारना है. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि हम 2 ऑप्शंस हमें इतने क्लोज लग रहे हैं, तो हम उन 2 ऑप्शंस को कंपेयर कर रहे हैं, वे कर रहे हैं, और हमें ऐसा लग रहा है कि यार ये ऑप्शन ठीक हो सकता है. आप अगर आपके अटेम्प्ट्स बहुत कम हो रहे हैं, then you can give it a try. But then this should not be that you're giving wild guesses because you don't have to earn negatives, right? And the best part with Rohtak is that you don't have a sectional cutoff. So at least, if you're not able to do well in English, you can compensate your score with other sections. But then I hope you know that the overall cutoffs of the paper are like increasing year by year. Last year का cutoff कितना खतरनाक था. So उस हिसाब से class, you've got to understand that yes, you will have to score in each and every section to be able to reach that, that mark that your seniors have set for yourself, right? तो चलो ठीक है. Maverick Michael मैंने क्यों बोला यार? Michael Jackson था, he used to do weird things, right? He used to dress up, do makeup like a woman, and his dance moves and everything about him was so different, was not conforming to the norms of the traditional society. So Maverick is a person जो थोड़ा अलग होता है. Myriad is like various, right? There are myriad ways you can get into this industry, right? Myriad, numerous. Mausoleum refers to a tomb, जिसको हम कहते हैं मकबरा, है ना? Grave of somebody जिसको properly बनाया गया, maintain किया गया. Fine. So we come to the next question. I hope first का answer A है. This is clear to everybody. I've also given you the mnemonics. Okay, fine. Let's move to the next one. Yes. Any guesses? Now, with one word substitution, I can only hope that you might be knowing the other words here and there. सारे भी नहीं पता तो कुछ तो पता होंगे. Elimination तो हो जाएगा कम से कम. Yeah, please, please. A person with an obstinately uncooperative attitude, somebody who is not willing to cooperate and जो अड़ गया है, what is the answer? Very nice class. Recalcitrant is the right answer. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so recalcitrant is somebody who is very stubborn, okay, or is adamant, can be obsequious. There are many words for that, right? So I always tell you that whenever you learn a word, learn at least 4 to 5 synonyms with it. Anyway, dissonant आप सब समझते हैं. Dissonant है थोड़ा सा discordant type का है. Clairvoyance क्या होता है? The ability to foresee the future. The sage was known for his clairvoyance, and people from distant places would come to know their future, right? So people who can predict the future or who can foretell the future, वो होते हैं आपके clairvoyant लोग. What is poignant? Yes, class, what is poignant? Poignant is, very painfully moving. This was a poignant story of an orphan. ठीक है? All right. So class, answer clear hai? Make sure that you keep down writing the meaning of the words, or you can take screenshots so that you learn these words. Third one for you. Now this time, finding good things without actually looking for them. It's a wonderful expression that you must know. And I believe that panacea and zenith are very common words. You should be knowing them. Yes, what can be the answer? Of course, toxic gaming, definitely. आप सारे papers दे सकते हैं. आपने form भरा है क्या? Yeah, what is this? What is this? The answer is serendipity. हम कहते हैं ना हसीन इत्तेफाक, right? कोई चीज आपने expect ना करी हो, फिर suddenly positively आ जाए आपके सामने. So that is serendipity. Okay? You run across a former senior of yours, and he offers you a job and he says, yeah, मेरी company में आ जा, तेरे को CEO बना देगा वो suddenly. तो wow, serendipity. Fine. A very हसीन इत्तेफाक, as I say. Okay? All right. What is panacea? Panacea is a remedy for all the problems. ठीक है? It's a remedy. A universal remedy. Panacea. Zenith. Zenith is the peak. जिसको हम कहते हैं acme or pinnacle, the highest point of something. I hope you know zenith is a very common word. Zenith का opposite क्या होता है? Class, ये आपको comment section में बताना है. Give me at least 3 synonyms. Rather, not synonyms, antonyms. Antonyms of zenith. People, this is your assignment. Yes, you will share this with me in the comment section. All right, at least 3 antonyms of zenith. Truculence is when you are ready to pick a fight, very aggressive, very hostile. Okay, जिसको हम कहते हैं, being pugnacious. लड़ाकू हो रहे हो आप. Okay, all right. Another nice word, hawkish हो, hawkish. हॉक जैसे, देखो 2 प्यारे वर्ड्स. एक हॉक जैसे, हॉक अग्रेसिव बर्ड होती है, और दूसरा डव जैसा. डव कैसी होती है? बड़ी पीसफुल वर्ड होती है. So people who are as peaceful as a dove would be dovish, and people who are very aggressive and willing to pick up fight, belligerent people, right, truculent people, they are going to be hawkish. Next question. So, आपको पता है IPMAT रोहतक में भर भर के synonyms और antonyms आते हैं. इसीलिए I wanted to show all of this to you, right? So that you can witness the entire paper yourself, right? You have to figure out the synonym of this word. Apostasy. Who's an apostate? Yes, class. Do we know this? Very nice, Mahita. You gave me a wonderful antonym of, yeah, zenith. Wonderful. Yes, Diya, well tried. To be very honest, अब आप मुझसे vocab book के बारे में पूछ रहे हो बेटा. Now, to be honest, it's very late. तो मैं आपसे यही बोलूंगी, whatever word lists you have, you can go through them. अगर कोई हाई फ्रीक्वेंसी वर्ड लिस्ट है, थोड़ा थोड़ा आप सीख सकते हो, जिपमैट के लिए आप पूछो, जिपमैट में भी टाइम बहुत कम बचा है, बट यार हाथ पे हाथ धर के तो बैठने का मतलब नहीं है, तो कुछ ना कुछ तो आप कर ही सकते हो. सो द बेस्ट थिंग इज टू रिवाइज द वर्ड लिस्ट दैट यू हैव क्यूरेटेड फॉर योरसेल्फ. एपोस्ट्रोफी का आंसर किसी को ज्यादा पता नहीं है. Madhur, you have given me the right answer. Very well done, Madhur. Heresy is the right answer. What is being an apostate? It's being a heretic. ओके मतलब आप क्या कर रहे हो, एक तरह से आप डिसिडेंट हो, आप कोई स्टैंडर्ड बिलीव जो है आपका, राइट, एनी आइडियोलॉजी दैट यू हैव फॉलोड, राइट, कुड बी अ रिलीजन, कुड बी एनीथिंग, जिसको आप पब्लिकली छोड़ देते हो. You're renouncing it, you're giving that up, okay, you're leaving it. That is, being an apostate or being a heretic. Dissident भी है, मतलब कोई आपकी political ideology थी, or you belong to some political faction and you leave it and you move to the other one or something like that. Okay, so these are some nice words. गुड़ में क्या होता है? Gourmet are the food critics, right? Please don't you confuse it with another word, gourmand. Gourmand simply means somebody who's a foodie or who's very fond of eating. बट गूरमे का मतलब क्या होता है, ये लोग, दोनों वर्ड फूड से रिलेटेड है, दोनों वर्ड्स काफी सिमिलर साउंड करते हैं, बट गूरमे होता है वो जो फूड क्रिटिक होता है, राइट, जो एक तरह का एपिक्योर या एपिक्योरियन बंदा होता है, जिसको हु हैज अ वेरी फाइन टेस्ट ऑफ फूड एंड वाइन एंड ऑल दैट, राइट. ओके, फ्रेस्को बेसिकली वॉल पेंटिंग्स टाइप की होती है. फ्रेस्को हियर से इस सुनी कही बातें जिन पे आपको भरोसा नहीं होना चाहिए. I did not heed to whatever he said. I believe that's all hearsay. I would like to verify everything. Hearsay, suni kahi baatein, easy to remember. Very nice, Diya. You have a good vocabulary. So keep going, class. Agar tumse questions nahi ban rahe, don't you feel discouraged. Don't you get daunted. Take this like a learning class. बने रहो. अभी ऐसी बहुत सारी चीजें आएंगी जो तुमसे बनेंगी. ठीक है? Let's move to the next word. अब ये कॉमन वर्ड है मेरे हिसाब से, बनना चाहिए. जिस भी बंदे ने अपनी vocab पे काम किया है ना, the person who has worked on vocabulary would have definitely come across this word here and there. One of the high frequency words this is. Yeah. What is being capricious? Ritika, if you have done nothing in vocab and idioms, you can focus on grammar, you can focus on passage solving, and try a bit of parajumbles. And you know what? There's no harm in trying some questions here and there, right? तो synonyms, antonyms, रोजाना कुछ तो question practice करो, कुछ तो लगाओ, right? कुछ ना कुछ तो आपका अच्छा हो सकता है, but उस पर बहुत ज्यादा focus नहीं कर सकते हो, because now you will try to salvage your score by paying more heed to other sections. ठीक है? Capricious क्या होता है? Somebody who is slightly, थोड़ा सा eccentric, थोड़ा सा पल में तोला पल में माशा, slightly mercurial, slightly whimsical, है ना? बहुत थोड़ा सा मूडी टाइप का होता है वो, मर्क्यूरियल इंसान होता है. ठीक है, इसलिए इसका आंसर होना चाहिए fickle. Somebody who is fickle, constantly मूड के हिसाब से बिहेवियर चेंज होना, एक्सेंट्रिक होना. These are some of the synonyms of the word. What is frivolous? Frivolous is थोड़ा सा silly टाइप का. You know, a kind of a playful remark when you have to be serious. You're being like a little too casual about serious things and you're being humorous and you know, एक silly type का humor crack करो when you're expected to be serious. That is frivolous. I don't want this frivolous attitude during the exam time. ठीक है, exam time में तो serious हो जाओ. Okay, haphazard आप सब जानते हैं, we haphazard without any proper order. Impulsive आप सब समझते हो, जब आप impulsive होते हो, आप बिना सोचे समझे एक्ट करते हो, बहुत गलत चीज है, राइट? सोच समझ के बिहेव करना चाहिए. ओके, फाइनली what can be substituted for this? Synonym में पूछा जा रहा है, gargantuan. What is gargantuan? Gargantuan, my dear friends, what does this mean? Any guesses out there? फैंटास्टिक आईपी मैट इंदौर में इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस नहीं आएंगे आपको, राइट, बट वहां का अलग टाइप का चैलेंज होगा. सी यू विल नॉट गेट दीज डायरेक्ट synonyms and antonyms questions, but last year also we had somewhere around 8 questions or 8 to 10 questions based on synonyms, antonyms, and 2 to 3 questions on word and word substitution. So we will have to go through that, right? Nitin, if you feel that you're good at LRDI and quant, very nice, but still you will have to score something really good in English to match the overall cutoff, right? Okay. Gargantuan का मतलब होता है huge, and इसका synonym होगा ginormous. Ginormous को याद करना बहुत आसान. Ginormous, मैं कहती हूँ enormous का बड़ा भाई ginormous. Simple. इनॉर्मस तो यार सबको पता होता है. इनॉर्मस का बड़ा भाई जाइनॉर्मस. गार्गेंटुइन इज ह्यूज. ओके. स्टुपेंडस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज लाइक अमेजिंग, right? A stupendous performance, a stellar performance, right? Some synonyms of this can be humongous, colossal, mammoth, leviathan. बहुत सारे वर्ड्स हैं. वैसे मैं लिखते जाऊंगी, टाइम चला जाएगा. एंड आई वांट टू कवर ऑल द अमेजिंग 40 क्वेश्चंस दैट आई हैव पिक्ड अप फॉर यू, राइट? इनसिग्निफिकेंट, unimportant, we all know. Trivial is also unimportant. Something that is very minor is not important enough. Finally, we come to antonyms, and soon we will be taking up some nice, doable, easy questions on grammar. नितिन, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. वोकैब तुम्हारी वीकनेस है. अभी सारे क्वेश्चंस मेरे साथ में सॉल्व करो. क्या पता इसमें से कोई वर्ड आ जाए आपके एग्जाम में और आप मुझे बोलो कि मैम आपने बताया था, थैंक यू सो मच. सो यू नेवर नो, राइट? दिक्कत नहीं है कोई भी. हम कहते हैं ना, मुश्किल नहीं है कुछ भी. अगर ठान लीजिए तो एकदम डिटर्मिनेशन के साथ में, पॉजिटिविटी के साथ में फोकस करो. दिस इज नॉट द टाइम टू पैनिक. ओके, जो नहीं बनेगा छोड़ते जाना, बट अभी तुम्हारे पास में टाइम है. यू कैन डेफिनेटली put your best foot forward, right? You can do something or the other, class. Please, no self-doubt at this juncture. It can turn out to be counterproductive. Antonyms, they're asking us antonyms, and these, this is a difficult question. Being embroiled is being deeply involved in something. With such a question, where there are actually 3 words in the same question. So obviously you can follow elimination technique. If you know embroiled is a common word. Embroiled is when you're deeply involved in something. And इसका opposite पूछ रहे हैं तो emancipate हो सकता है, because emancipate is to liberate or set someone free. Haven't you heard of women emancipation? So when we say women emancipation, it's like we're setting them free, we're liberating them. Okay, so this looks good to me. Mired is when you're stuck in something. All of this cannot be. Ratified is when, there's a ratification, there's final confirmation or permission given to something. Okay, let me ratify this, let me confirm this. And revoke is cancelling something. So this can be the answer. Occult is something which is not very clear. Fine. Occult sciences or occult activities, है ना, लाइक वो ग्लोब देख के फ्यूचर बताना, या फिर कुछ ऐसी चीजें जो पैरानॉर्मल डोमेन में चली जाती हैं, वो ओकल्ट होती हैं. ऑपोजिट इसका एविडेंट हो सकता है, राइट? सो इसका आंसर क्या हो जाएगा? ए. Befuddling is confusing. Proscribe is what? What is proscribe? To prohibit something. Okay. And ensnared is to entice and trap. Liberate, we know. Refuse, we know. Unequivocal. Unequivocal is something which is very clear. Equivocal is thoda sa vague. ठीक है? Metaphysical is beyond the domain of the physical realm, right? Sanctified, you already know. ठीक है? Sanctify करना, sanct word से बना, which means pious. So you sanctify something, you make it holy. So obviously we have a clear winner here. Don't you worry, class. You soon have a savior. The last question on vocabulary, and then we will change it when coming to grammar. And I believe, this is Good, because you must have heard of carbon sequestration. My pleasure, fantastic. Kaushik, you're asking me the ideal score in English. Nobody can tell you the ideal score. But yes, I'll tell you the picture here. Yeah, out of like, you have 40. So your total score is somewhat 160. So in our mocks and all, I see the toppers are actually touching 130. Right? I'm talking about the toppers. And yes, you have to definitely cross 120 or something, right? Last year the cutoff was very high. What was the cutoff last year of IPMAT Rohtak? Do you even know? Last year the cutoff, pata hai, nobody had anticipated such a high cutoff. It was a total cutoff, but obviously when you break it down to English, maybe 130, malab the scores skyrocketed. They did, right? So, okay, coming back to this, have you heard of carbon sequestration? You can expect a passage on this class, carbon sequestration. What is carbon sequestration? You have to message this to me in inbox में. आपको comment section में आपको मुझे बताना है. बहुत important है. You can expect a passage out of this carbon sequestration. And if you know this, you can definitely understand what it is. Sequester as such means, very good, Mahita. Yes, 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 yes. I'll come to sequestration. The cutoff was 409 out of 480. Can you imagine? This was the cutoff. This was the minimum that student have to score to qualify even for the next round. So imagine, right? So obviously we have to score very well in English as well. Okay, all right. Sequester is isolated or secluded. एंड इसका ऑपोजिट पूछ रहे हैं आपसे तो वो हो जाएगा इंटीग्रेटेड. आई थिंक पॉलिश्ड एंड डेकोरेटेड आर एब्सोल्युटली इररेलेवेंट. सेक्लूडेड इज एक्चुअली द सिनोनिम ऑफ द वर्ड sequestered, एंड ऑफ कोर्स उसका उल्टा होगा integrated. So I hope the answer is very clear. It's D, delta. And finally, we change the flavor. So all of you who are wondering, okay, fine, I don't understand what are these bizarre words, outlandish words, don't you worry. You will have respite very soon. We now come to grammar. ये तो कर लो यार, मतलब ये तो बनने लायक है, ये तो लगा ही लोगे. Harshvardhan, why do you have to ask me that? How is this even relevant? Yeah. Select the part of the sentence which has an error. Okay. The mayor and the governor gave a wonderful speech on the occasion of Gandhi Jayanti. So sentence looks very good. क्या कुछ गड़बड़ है? हाँ जी. The answer is no, it's not B. Yes, Madhur, it is C. Wonderful, wonderful. Right? The mayor and the governor gave a wonderful speech. अब यहाँ पे problem क्या है? You know what? यहाँ पे we've got to understand that we're talking about two persons here and not just a single person. Right? There were two people. One was the mayor and the other was the governor. How do you know that? Because of the repetition of the article the. If I say, what would you put here? Which helping verb will you put here? कौन सा helping verb आप यहाँ पे लगाओगे? The actor and producer dash come for the shoot. क्या लगाएंगे आप? Has लगाएंगे कि have लगाएंगे? Tell me. The answer is, when I say the actor and producer, I am referring to the same person who is actor also and producer also. But if I say the actor and the producer, this would mean there are two different persons because these are titles, right? So we often have somebody producing the film and casting themselves in the film. So that is very normal. So when I say the actor and producer, we are talking about the single person, hence it should be has. ठीक है ना? Okay. So यहाँ पे भी दो अलग अलग लोग हैं, एक मेयर साहब, एक गवर्नर साहब. तो वो एक स्पीच तो नहीं दे सकते ना. तो या तो आप ऐसा बोलो, you will have to mention that they've given separate speeches. Either you say gave a wonderful speech each. Either you write like this, or you can also say gave wonderful speeches. You can make it plural like this. I hope you will remember this rule. Yes, wonderful. Vikrant, you always in passages, we will be talking about passages in a while, then I'll be able to address your query in a better manner probably. But passage के हिसाब से ही चलना होता है. We don't have to go by our common understanding of things and our general knowledge. Whatever is written in the passage, Vikrant, we go by that, okay? And let us focus on grammar as for now, right? I hope this is clear. So the answer is C. Let's now move over to the next question. बन जाएगा. देखो ये मत सोचो. See, at this juncture, your attitude should not be कि यार मेरे आंसर नहीं सही आ रहे, or I'm feeling so demotivated like a loser I feel. No. Look at the brighter side of things. You're sitting here, you are studying something, you're learning something. Don't sit here to assess or gauge yourself. Sit here to learn. I'm sure after the session you will feel, much better and much more confident if you focus only on your learning. Right? तो सिर्फ learn करने के intention से बैठो. Select the option that contains grammatically correct sentences. Always read your directions very carefully, because sometimes they ask you correct, sometimes they say incorrect. So you should know. Okay? आपको पता होना चाहिए कि correct पूछ रहा है कि incorrect पूछ रहा है. चलिए बताइए. You have options like this. Such questions are definitely tricky because you have to run through all these different sentences. And you have multiple options like this, B and A and D. So this is going to take some time, but this is very much doable, class. Come on, give it a try, everybody. हाँ जी, क्या लगता है आपको? सिर्फ बोर्ड के सामने से हट रही हूं ताकि आप क्लियरली देख पाए. आई एम वेरी मच श्योर. Okay, I may not be able to answer each and every person's queries, but trust me, I am giving my best ताकि आप सीख पाओ बहुत कुछ. एक एक करके हम हर सेंटेंस को evaluate करते हैं. Either string beans or broccoli is my favorite vegetable. Now the idea here is जब भी either or होता है, there's a rule. देखो एक one subject is in plural and the other is singular. So what do we do? In such a scenario, it depends upon the kind of a conjunction. Whenever we speak of either or, neither nor, not only but also, or nor, talking about these conjunctions, what should you be doing? You have to follow the last subject or the subject which is closest to the verb, and you will only go by it. Here my subject is going to be broccoli. It is singular. और ये सिंगुलर है, सो इज जो है वो जस्टिफाइड है इसके साथ. हाँ, अगर मैं रिवर्स कर देती, अगर मैं ब्रोकली और स्ट्रिंग बीन्स कर देती तो मुझे आर लगाना पड़ता. आई होप दिस मच इज क्लियर. ओके, सो दिस लुक्स गुड टू मी. So I know that in my answer I need to have at least A for sure, so I will definitely eliminate option 1. B देखते हैं. Gold coins and silver bars was found in the sunken pirate ship. So of course you can figure out that here was does not make much sense because I'm talking about plural entities, they are plural things. Okay, so my answer is going to be were. Were is going to be the correct form. B I will not have in my options, right? See, she couldn't talk when the teacher is talking. Anything wrong with this particular sentence, class? Okay, Maulik, Nitin, I'm marking your responses, Anna. So many students participating. It feels so nice. I'm so glad you are actively participating. Keep up the good work. All right. She couldn't talk when the teacher is talking. Now, please understand, जब आपने बोला couldn't, that means we're talking about the past tense. And here we say is, that means you're talking about the present tense. And we're talking about the same situation. So either you take all the verbs in the past tense or you keep it in the present tense. Either which way. But it cannot be that in one place you're using past tense and in the other you're using present tense. So either it could be she couldn't talk when the teacher was talking, या फिर you can say she cannot talk when the teacher is talking. But this sentence is definitely wrong. And finally, D delta. Not one of the guests were pleased. What should be the answer here? Come on. Does this look good to you? Not one of the guests were pleased. Now, don't you look at guests. Your subject is one of the guests, right? And even when I say not, it would not actually impact my subject much. This would simply translate to कि एक भी मेहमान खुश नहीं था. Not a single guest was happy, right? So keeping that in mind, were actually doesn't make sense. It should have been was. Our subject is not only guest, it's one of the guests. Class, for grammar, I have time and again told you that entire verbs जिसमें tenses and conditionals आ जाते हैं, they're very important. Even models. And understanding of these things is really important. And you might have seen that yes, this statement and this statement, I believe, yeah, this and even this, A, B, and D, all belong to the domain of subject verb agreement. This is a very important topic, class. Fine. And then you will have some voice, narration, preposition, phrasal verb. They're really important. So यहाँ पे clearly हमारा answer क्या होगा? Third, A. Is this much clear to everybody? Let's move to the next question. Are we ready? Here we go. फटाफट करिए. Yeah, what do you think? I think it is very manageable. Let's solve this together. Yes, definitely, Seema. We will be coming up with one short revision for IPMAT Indore as well. Very soon we'll be having it. Yeah. All right. Phobos and Deimos are the two moons of Mars. Looks good. Looks fine. If I want to pass this class, I can study harder. Does this actually make sense? If I want to pass, I can study harder. I think it should be I should study harder, right? Can simply tells you about the capacity or ability of something. I can speak French, right? It simply tells. So can is definitely wrong here. Everybody at the fourth of. Now, firstly, yes, यहाँ पे the लग गया, I'm very happy. Whenever you are using ordinals like first, second, third, I live on the third floor. It's very important that you put the before that, right? Everybody at the 4th of July parade were carrying an American flag. We're talking about everybody, anybody, somebody, nobody, everything, something. All of them, each, every, all of them are going to be singular any day. Singular ही होगा वो, वर तो आ ही नहीं सकता. It's wrong, it should be was. I couldn't go to the party tonight because I has to work. Has to work? No. Had to work. अगर have होता तो शायद कुछ बच्चे पकड़ नहीं पाते. But then have भी नहीं होगा ये. You've got to understand that we are talking about the past. Look at this. I couldn't go. Right? So मैं party में नहीं जा पाया because I had to work is correct. Not have. Has to, of course, is not at all the right one. Again, the answer is fourth. Only A. Another question. So I'm giving you the different formats. Grammar may you can come across different types of questions. The format may change, but the errors are the same. The rule of grammars are the same, right? So of course, if you know the rules and if you are familiar with the common errors, you can definitely attempt grammar questions. So here we go. Another nice one. It's very easy, class. You should be able to do it. Come on, class. It's very easy. चलिए, let's discuss. The Large Hadron Collider is the world's largest and most powerful particle collider, the most complex experimental facility, and the largest single machine in the world. Yes, what is the answer? Very nice, Pragyan, that's correct. Yes, Madhur, yes, many of you, that's the right answer. पहली बात, this is a very stark mistake, a glaring mistake जो हमको दिखना चाहिए. अगर हमको ये नहीं दिख रही है, we need to question ourselves कि a world हमने accept कैसे कर लिया. It should be the world. Okay. It should be the world. इसके अलावा भी एक और mistake है. Can anybody point out another mistake in the same fragment of the sentence? Come on. क्या कोई और है जो बता सकता है? There's one more mistake. Yes, people out there. Yes, yes, yes. नहीं नहीं, गलती सिर्फ इसमें ही है. अब देखो यहाँ पे there's one more mistake that students do. What they feel कि third में error है ना, तो they would simply mark 3. They would mark C. No, you don't have to do that. Look at the answer code always, right? A में second है, B में third है, C में fourth है, D में 1 है. So you have to be very particular. This is a trap that the examiner sets to confuse you, right? So of course, third is the portion which has an error. So our answer would be B beta. You'll be marking B, all right? Not C. Now the idea is there's one more problem here. It should be single largest. When using adjectives, there is a sequence that we actually follow. सबसे पहले हम नंबर बताते हैं, उसके बाद में साइज या क्वालिटी ऐसी चीजें बताते हैं, राइट? सो नंबर सिंगल है तो सिंगल लार्जेस्ट होगा, ना कि लार्जेस्ट सिंगल. अनदर थिंग, द रेस्ट एवरीथिंग लुक्स गुड एंड यू मस्ट हैव सीन द. ये जरूरी है इतना द लगाना? Yes. Whenever you use superlatives, you must always use the before it. That's a nice takeaway from this. For example, this is the best movie that I've ever seen in my life. The best लगाना जरूरी है. अगर आप simply best बोलेंगे, it is an error. Okay? चलिए, wonderful. Let's move to the next question. And this is a fairly easy one. Class, this is very much doable. Read the instructions very carefully. Try to understand. This is not an error spotting one. This is slightly different. And class, iske baad mein, what is lined up for you? Parajumbles, right? So we will solve a few questions on parajumbles. Towards the end, आखिरी के 2 questions एक बहुत ही अलग टाइप की चीज पे बेस्ड हैं, जो odd statement या odd parajumble कहलाए जाते हैं. Okay? So वो last के few questions हैं. Stay tuned till the end. What do you think should be the answer? This is an easy one. Come on, come on. Gautam, I will look into it. आप कौन से sentence का बोल रहे थे? See, यहाँ पे दोबारा हमने द नहीं लगाया गौतम, इसीलिए क्योंकि पहले द लग गया है. वर्ल्ड्स लार्जेस्ट एंड मोस्ट पावरफुल पार्टिकल कोलाइडर. तो हमें रिपीट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, एक द कॉमन लग गया ना, बीच में एंड लगाए, तो इसलिए वी डिड नॉट रिपीट इट. आई होप आई हैव आंसर्ड योर क्वेरी. Coming back to this one, kindly do not attend my class if you cannot adhere by the rules, if you cannot stick to the rules, right? Now the idea here is you have been asked to replace this word with another word, right? With any of these words, so that the sentence is grammatically correct. And of course, logically, it has to be correct because it should not alter the meaning. The answer is definitely abide. Now the point is, logically अगर तुम देखोगे तो follow भी अच्छा लगता है and cater भी आ सकता है. Probably cater उतना अच्छा तो नहीं होगा, but still somewhere or the other the shades of meaning are very similar. But the idea here is preposition. Preposition is at play. I could have even given you another option that was comply. Could comply be the answer? Can comply replace this particular word here? Tell me, class. Can it replace? Can comply be the answer? Yes, Sarthak, that's the right answer. Adhere को replace तो करेगा abide. बट क्या कंप्लाई रिप्लेस कर सकता था लीव असाइड अबाइड? जस्ट टेल मी अबाउट दिस. नहीं कर सकता, दो द मीनिंग इज करेक्ट. But comply takes the preposition with. Abide takes the preposition by. So this will fit in here. What is wrong with adhere? Adhere will actually take the preposition to. You have to adhere to the rules. You have to stick to the rules. You have to follow them. Comply with the rules. Right? So किस word के साथ में कौन सा preposition लगता है उस हिसाब से हमको word choose करना होता है. ठीक है? cater के साथ लगता है to. And follow के साथ you don't need any preposition actually. That's why we are not selecting C. And finally, enough of grammar now. Now we change the flavor and we come to parajumbles. So class, if you don't know parajumbles enough, मेरी अभी सीरीज चल रही थी रैपिड रिविजन. लाइव सेशन में आप जाइएगा और आपको दिखेगा अभी आखिरी जो मैंने सेशन लिया था that was rapid revision and the topic was parajumbles. So I have taught you the rules of parajumble there, right? And we have solved a couple of questions. So make sure you see that, right? And let's attempt this particular question here. Come on, tell me the answer. Class, this can be slightly tricky. Options दिए हुए आपको रोहतक में और जिपमैट में पैराजम्बल ऑप्शंस के साथ में आएगा. That's a good news, right? बिल्कुल नितिन, बाय नहीं होता तो फॉलो लगता. बिल्कुल सही. यस, दैट्स राइट दिया. कंप्लाई बाय कुछ नहीं होता. ऑलराइट, तो चलिए बताइए आंसर जल्दी जल्दी निकालिए. आई हैव ऑलरेडी शेयर्ड द ट्रिक्स विद यू. ओके, ट्राई टू आइडेंटिफाई द ओपनर. मैंडेटरी पेयर बनाने की कोशिश करिए लॉजिकल लिंक देख के. कभी कभी वर्ड्स की मदद से स्ट्रक्चर आप बना सकते हैं देख के कि यार इसमें तो हाउएवर लगा है. आई हैव गिवन यू सम हिंट्स ऑलरेडी. कम ऑन. Yes, class, go ahead. Fine, so I am getting your answers and yes, very nice, lovely. Phoenix, Rishabh, Anshu, you all have given me the right answer. Pragyan, Dia, Alicia, Elegance, Prachi. So many of you have given me the right answer. That is brilliant. I am so happy. तो चलो ठीक है, मुझे ज्यादा मेहनत नहीं करनी पड़ेगी समझाने में. ओके, सो आइडियली जब तुम देखते हो एकदम से तो कुछ चीजें मैं मार्क कर लेती हूँ. सम keywords or some words which are often either pronouns or there are some conjunctions. And they actually are, glaringly giving me clues that, fine, you can actually use them to make pairs. For example, there are others who claim. Others, यानी कि इससे पहले तुमने किसी की बात की होगी. However, that means this is going to mark a contrast. इसके पहले इससे बिल्कुल opposite कोई बात होनी चाहिए क्योंकि however तो opposite बात बताता है, right? Some people believe that, okay. No such very clear clues right now. तो चलिए ठीक है, पढ़ते हैं इनको. Some people believe that real friendships are collapsing in modern times. Some believe this. There are others who believe that. Makes sense, right? Can be very logical. कुछ लोगों को लगता है कि real friendship जो है modern times में collapse हो रही है. There are others who claim that they have never been so well connected. So it is telling you about the divergent views of people about, the current status of friendship. Okay. While some of you might have gotten tempted to select C as the opener. C जब आप पढ़ते हो तो थोड़ा सा opener type का लगता है क्योंकि आपको जब नाम मिल जाते हैं ना तो आपको लगता है कि यार इसी से स्टार्ट होना चाहिए. बट ऐसा हमेशा नहीं होता है, राइट? Whether or not Facebook friendships are lasting is debatable. So you might feel that it'll start with C and stuff, but don't jump to conclusions, right? Don't be in a hurry. Read all the sentences and try to make pairs. Okay? तो यहाँ पे I am 100% sure कि D के बाद में तो भाई A आना चाहिए. DA is a mandatory pair. And I get this here. I don't get it anywhere else. So before marking it as my answer, I will still try to check the sequence कि भाई मैं सही मार्क कर रही हूँ कि नहीं. तो पहले ये आ गया, फिर उन्होंने बोला कुछ बोल रहे हैं कि we've never been so well connected. Whether or not Facebook friendships are lasting is debatable. So because Facebook is known for connecting people, of course we know, right? तो networking site है ये, तो उस हिसाब से ये वो बोल रहा है कि Facebook friendships lasting है कि नहीं वो debatable है. फाइनली बी आ जाएगा. However, such social networking sites, yes, this was also a very important keyword. आपको समझ में आ जाएगा सी के बाद में बी आना चाहिए विदाउट अ डाउट. सी बी इज ऑल्सो अ मैंडेटरी पेयर. But this pair doesn't help you much because here this also has CB, right? But then we have our answer. Answer is option A. Chaliye, let's move to another question. A new question, a new challenge. चलो, क्या होना चाहिए फटाफट बताओ. Okay. Yes, are we anywhere close to the answer? Come on. वही करिए. However, in fact, ठीक है. क्या हो सकता है? Try to identify an opener. Yes, can I check your answers, please? Is there anybody who's given me the right answer? Not really. People are still processing it. चलिए, let's do it together. C बोलता है, mechanical production of goods leads to uniformity of design. Okay. However, uniformity does not imply lack of taste. Looks good. We will read all the sentences, then only we will try to form pairs, and then only we'll understand ke bhai, what should be the ideal opener. Expert designers standardize basic designs, leaving scope for the satisfaction of individual taste. D, in fact, popular taste has improved because standardized goods of better design are now accessible. Certainly, after going through all these sentences, it is very evident that C has to be the opener. Yes or no? क्या आपको समझ में आ रहा है कि C opener होना चाहिए? For sure, 100%. Mechanical production of goods leads to uniformity of design. So this is an opening sentence because it's telling you about the mechanical production. Bulk में हम produce कर रहे हैं machines में. Fine, और इससे design same बनता है. But this might create a concern कि what about the quality and taste and aesthetics? However, uniformity does not imply lack of taste. तो C के बाद में B आना चाहिए. CB is a mandatory pair and we get our answer straight away. Wonderful. If you're very sure about it, you don't really need to waste your time and energy checking the entire sequence. But sometimes अगर थोड़ा सा भी आपको doubt हो रहा है, so it's always a good idea to ratify it by checking the statements ahead. तो कह रहे हैं it doesn't imply lack of taste. उसके बाद में D आ जाएगा. In fact, popular taste तो improve ही हो गया है standardization से. और finally, A is building upon D, saying that expert designers तो बेसिक डिजाइन स्टैंडर्डाइज कर देते हो, बाकी फिर वो देयर इज ऑलवेज रूम फॉर इंप्रूवमेंट एज पर द टेस्ट ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल. दे कैन एक्चुअली कस्टमाइज इट. सो दिस मेक्स अ कंप्लीट सीक्वेंस. हाउ वाज इट? अ नाइस वन. चलिए, लेट्स ट्राई आउट अनदर क्वेश्चन. Okay, class, this can look a little scary and daunting, but trust me, it is not. ओके, डरो मत, बिल्कुल मत डरो. सेंटेंसेस पढ़ो पहले अच्छे से एंड देन लेट्स ट्राई इट. This is about coronavirus. I'm sure this is going to be very relatable. अभी हम भूले नहीं है उसको. तो उसके बारे में जो भी हमने पढ़ा है. See, when you have read about something or when you have experienced something, right, you will remember it better. And whenever you read something related to that, it's more relatable and we can quickly comprehend it. What do you think can be the opener? After reading all the sentences, only then should you select the opener. All right. So I believe that while 3 may look like an opener, but I'm giving you a hint, it is not an opener. 3 से तो start नहीं होगा. बहुत बड़ा hint मैंने आपको दिया. Okay, so what should it be? Let's solve this together. Okay, No credible evidence has emerged to support an accidental lab release either. ना ही ये हुआ ना ही वो हुआ kind of a thing. So I don't think so this is coming anywhere in the beginning for sure, right? This cannot be the opener because what kiska lab release we don't really know, because the pathogen coronavirus first emerged and began infecting people in Wuhan, China. President Trump has claimed without evidence that it started in a laboratory there. Don't you think so? This is a wonderful opener, right? Let us still read on 3 and 4 before we take a final call. Chinese virologists, people who study viruses are virologists. Shi Zhengli, who studies bat coronaviruses, compared the pathogen sequence against that of other coronaviruses sampled from bat caves and found that it did not match any of them. So it's telling you about a Chinese virologist जिन्होंने bats में जो कोविड होता है, कोरोना वायरस होता है मौजूद, उसको टैली किया विद हमारा वाला कोरोना वायरस और उसमें कुछ भी मैच नहीं हुआ. Okay. Fourth, some conspiracy theorists have even speculated it was engineered as a bioweapon, although US intelligence agencies have categorically denied that the COVID-19 virus was man-made or genetically modified. So this entire thing turns out to be कि कोविड कैसे फैला, कैसे स्टार्ट हुआ, उस पर जो मल्टीपल कॉन्स्पिरेसी थियोरीज आ रही थी, पीपल मेकिंग मल्टीपल क्लेम्स, राइट, वो वाली बात है. एंड वी ऑल हैव एक्सपीरियंस दैट, राइट. हमने भी जगह जगह बहुत कुछ पढ़ा. उसके हिसाब से आई थिंक सबसे पहले सेकंड आना चाहिए. इट्स एन ऑब्वियस ओपनर. अब सी को देखूंगी, डी को देखूंगी, दोनों 2 से स्टार्ट हो रहे हैं एंड दोनों में 2 के बाद में 4 है. So now the problem boils down to should it be 1-3 or should it be 3-1? So I have 2 and I have 4. 2-4 is a mandatory pair. ठीक है, 2 के बाद में 4 आ गया. कुछ लोगों का तो ये भी दावा था कि it was a bioweapon, whereas US intelligence agencies they said कि नहीं भाई, कोई bioweapon तो नहीं है, it's not human created. Next, what? No credible evidence has emerged to support an accidental lab release either. अब तो 1 ही आना चाहिए ना. क्यों? क्योंकि आप कह रहे हो कि भाई कोई लैब रिलीज की थियोरी भी नहीं है. दैट्स द रीजन व्हाई द पीपल हु आर spreading this controversial claims, they actually should know that there was no accidental lab release. There was no evidence for that. So it would be very baseless to say that ये एक बायोवेपन था या फिर ये लैब से लीक हुआ. ठीक है, तो 2, 4, 1 एंड फाइनली हम 3 लगा देंगे कि फिर फाइनली लेकिन बैट्स के उससे भी ये मैच नहीं हुआ है. ठीक है, इज दिस मच क्लियर क्लास? एवरीबडी आउट देयर? ऑलराइट क्लास, चलिए ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. फाइनली now we're done with parajumbles. Now we come to a very easy thing which are idioms. Idioms कभी कभी बहुत आसान भी लग जाते हैं क्योंकि you know that their literal meaning is not true. Many times you can guess it, especially if it is used in a sentence, it becomes very easy. But I have purposefully not used those kind of things. ऐसे भी आपके एग्जाम में बहुत क्वेश्चंस आए हैं, आपको डायरेक्टली इडियम दे दिया एंड दे आस्क यू व्हाट कैन बी द पॉसिबल मीनिंग. सो लेट्स अटेम्प्ट दिस. कम ऑन. इडियम्स रोहतक में भी आएंगे, जिपमैट में भी आएंगे, सीयूईटी में भी आते हैं. यस, एंड ऑफ कोर्स आईपीमैट इंदौर में तो आते ही आते हैं. कम ऑन, लेट्स अटेम्प्ट दिस वन. व्हाट डू यू थिंक शुड बी द आंसर क्लास? To tar another with the same brush. Yes, what should be the answer? Yes, very nice class. Well done, Diya, Archana. Wonderful, Govindu, Gautam. So many of you are giving me the right answer. Won't be practically possible to read out everybody's name, but yes, the answer is C. To believe that someone of a particular group has the same bad qualities as others in that group. ठीक है ना? So वैसे तो unfortunately ये भी idiom है, birds of same feather flock together. लेकिन हमेशा ऐसा नहीं होता, right? If you see there's a group or if you see there's a community and you feel कि एक खराब है तो सब लोग ही खराब होंगे, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं होता. That is what it is saying, that to tar and another one with the same brush means C. बाकी सब options बिल्कुल गलत. चलिए, so here An idiomatic expression has been used in a sentence, right? Question number 18. It's been used in a sentence and you have to guess the meaning. Come on, class, come on. We have to do this. What do you think should be the answer? थोड़ी सी अपनी स्पीड पे भी आपको काम करना होगा. अगर आप इंग्लिश सेक्शन लिमिटेड टाइम में करते हैं, इट विल सेव यू मोर अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम for the other sections, right? For reasoning, for quant. And you know what? This doesn't happen in IPMAT Indore, right? Because they have sectional time limits as well, right? But here you have a lot of leeway. You have the latitude, you can play around. So you can actually pick sections. You can actually decide your own timing. How much time do you want to dedicate to the English section? It would largely depend on the level of difficulty of the paper. But tell me, for 40 questions, how much time would you be giving to the English section? Tell me in the paper, कितना time दोगे English section को? क्या बात है मधुर? That's the right answer. Very well done, beta. Yes, there's so many others who give me the right answer. Bhavya, Leelesh, so many of you. Right. Time कितना दोगे? All right. So I feel that minimum 20 minutes तो देने पड़ेंगे. उससे कम में you will not be able to do justice to the section if you really want to maximize your attempts, right? Minimum. But easily it goes up to 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, see, in Rohtak, you get a lot of time. So make sure that you make maximum attempts and you give a decent 30 minutes. You can give 25 to 30 minutes. That is going to help you a lot to get maximum advantage out of this section. So coming over to this question, please come and watch the new hypnotist with us tomorrow night. She will have you in stitches. अब क्या होता है कि कई बार एग्जामिनर जानबूझ के आपके साथ खेलता है, राइट? उसने ऐसा एग्जाम्पल वीव किया है कि आपको लगेगा प्रोबेबली अगर आपको इस इडियम का मतलब नहीं पता है तो आप गलत ही आंसर मार्क करके आओगे. आप सोचोगे मे बी दी ऑडियंस वुड बी लाइक यू नो लेफ्ट इन ऑ, राइट? और स्ट्रक हो सकते हैं या फिर मे बी वो बहुत ज्यादा उनके लिए इंफॉर्मेटिव ट्रीट की तरह हो. शायद स्टूडेंट्स ए या डी मार्क कर सकते हैं. बट एक्चुअली व्हेन यू leave someone in stitches or when someone is in stitches, they are into compulsive laughter. वो इतना हंस रहे हैं that they have absolutely no control over themselves, right? So keeping that in mind, if you know the original meaning of this idiom, then what should be the answer? The audience will have a good laugh, right? C is the right answer. This is actually a phrasal verb. And in a phrasal verb, verb होता है और उसके साथ में कोई preposition लगता है. In some cases, it can be an adverb also. They look the same almost to us, right? To a common person, they look the same. And every time that preposition or adverb changes, the meaning of this phrase dramatically changes. Okay? For example, get by, get into, get off. Okay, call on, call in, call forth, call into. They're different. यहाँ पे बताइए क्या होना चाहिए? Come on. Choose the right expression or phrasal verb that should fit in the sentence. Come on. Question 19. Everybody. Yes. What's the answer? Yes, absolutely. Fell off नहीं हो सकता. Fall off जब हम कह रहे हैं the branch fell off the tree, मतलब detach होके अलग हो गई from the main body. That is falling off, right? So certainly this would not make sense here. His plans to go on a Europe tour dash when he got sick, it should be fell through. When something falls through, it means this is not going to materialize, and any plans that you were building or designing they were called off or they had to be cancelled. They could not be materialized. Okay, so fell through would be the right answer. Okay, fall out. When you fall out with someone, you sever your relationships with them, right? Your relation with them gets a little estranged. Okay, he fell out with his girlfriend on a very trivial issue. ओके, तो मतलब आप स्प्लिट हो जा रहे हो उनसे, आपका उनसे रिलेशनशिप खत्म हो जा रहा है. ओके, या फिर आपकी उनसे सिंपली कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो गई. फॉल इनटू, द लिटिल बॉय फेल इनटू द वेल. सिंपल. Another very nice and easy one, and the last one of the league, and then we will move over to passages. Yes, some nice passages are waiting for you. To give oneself airs. He has a lot of airs. Even otherwise भी हम airs word का काफी इस्तेमाल करते हैं. And this one is very easy. Answer is absolutely correct. Behaving arrogantly. She has a lot of airs. Okay, मतलब she's a very arrogant person. ठीक, समझ में आ गया? बाकी सारे options absolutely off the mark. So class, finally we come to passages. I have a very simple passage for you. बहुत आसान है. रोहतक में easy ही passages आते हैं. But you'll have to be a little patient. Read through it. If you don't know much about passage solving, मैंने rapid revision जो अभी लिया है उसमें RC का मेरा second ही session था. Go to the live section and check it out. I've shared some important rules for passage, okay, and the different important question types. You can do that. Class, I think you should definitely attempt this. Don't give up. Be alert and participate. आपके लिए छोटे छोटे पैसेजेस हैं एक पेज के. रोहतक ज्यादातर छोटे ही पैसेजेस देता है. You can expect two short passages and one passage of medium length. Sometimes that one passage could even be slightly on the longer side, but then there's no rule like that, right? So it's okay. I have picked up short passages this time. Okay, let's do this. Read the passage quick. Yes, tell me once you're done reading. Yes, come on. Have you finished reading the passage? Okay, I think this much time was enough for you. Now I am moving ahead. Let's now go to the questions. The first one. Very nice. Class, you'll have to ace up, right? Your speed is very important. Yes, I hope you've marked your response, waiting for your answers. पहले आप सारे क्वेश्चन देखो, मुझे जल्दी फटाफट आंसर्स बताओ, and then we will discuss the passage. I'll explain the passage to you and I'll discuss each and every question, right? थोड़ा पेशेंस रखना पड़ेगा, फोकस्ड रहना पड़ेगा. आई रिक्वेस्ट यू टू बी फोकस्ड. द सेकेंड क्वेश्चन. Yes, enough time. The third question. Question number 23, the third question of the passage. There are only 4 questions, class. Very much doable. आप सब लोग कर सकते हैं. Next question. This is going to be the last question of the passage. Good question. All right, I think आपको clear हो गया होगा. I really appreciate and admire the focus of some of the students here particularly. They've been consistently participating, sharing their responses. Very nice class. I really appreciate and I wish you all the best from the bottom of my heart, from the core of my heart. Good, keep up the good work, keep practicing, keep learning. तो चलो passage discuss करना शुरू करते हैं आप. Easy language थी. Theme भी आपको समझ में आ गई होगी. Please understand that you don't need to understand each and every word given in the passage. Of course, it would be ideal if you do, but then that rarely happens. So sometimes there are some, allusions here and there. There are references to some external things. For example, this passage is probably an excerpt from a longer story, right? And we don't know what the background is. But then when you read on with patience, आपको सब कुछ समझ में आने लगता है. Everything starts falling in place. And what's the most important thing, that you must be able to identify the main idea or the central idea, and then all the important points that are given in the passage. If you don't understand a sentence or an idea, that's absolutely fine. Don't you panic. Okay? All right. I do not know that I was sanguine this time. What is sanguine? Okay. Just a second. Chalo. I don't know, it's not getting highlighted. I'll look into it. Let's read it meanwhile. I had begun, in fact, sanguine क्या होता है? Sanguine होता है optimistic, confident or cheerful, right? So he says, I do not know कि मैं sanguine था इस वक्त. I had begun, in fact, to look upon diamond as a most unmitigated nuisance. Author के हिसाब से diamond जो था वो nuisance लग रहा था, nonsense लग रहा है. And at the same time, unmitigated, आपको ये question दिया हुआ है, right? So it says that which is unmitigated is complete, thorough. Mitigated मतलब थोड़ा कुछ कम हो गई किसी चीज की intensity, right? The tension mitigated, that means tension got relieved and eased. But it is unmitigated, that means it's total, utter. This was utter nuisance. However, rather than throw a damper on Tom's expectations, I announced myself eager to start. The author did not want to dampen the expectations of Tom. तो Tom उनका partner है, उनके साथ में है. इनको पहले ही समझ में आ रहा था that diamond को chase करना. He was not very much optimistic, honestly speaking. He doubted his own optimism and cheerfulness, but he didn't want to dampen Tom's expectations. So he said that, okay, fine, I am very eager to start. What a walk it was. Tom was always a good mountaineer, but his excitement seemed to lend him wings that day, while I scrambled along after him as best as I could. Fine. Now, Tom was very much excited. Okay, and he was a mountaineer. So, अब आपको theme समझ में आ रही है. These are the two people who are trying to maybe climb a mountain or something in pursuit of a diamond. Okay, वो diamond वगैरह ढूंढने जा रहे हैं किसी पहाड़ी पर. and he was very excited, and ये उनके पीछे पीछे टॉम के आते रहे. When we got within half a mile, he broke into the double and never pulled up until he reached the round white circle upon the cliff in the valley. Okay, poor old Tom, when I came up, his mood has changed and he was standing with his hands in his pockets, gazing vacantly before him with a rueful countenance. So the point is, Tom जैसे जैसे पहले पहुंच गए वहां पर, and जब वो वहां पे पहुंचे हैं, fine, poor Tom, okay, उनका mood ही बदल गया. He was standing there looking blank, okay, and with a rueful countenance, fine, a negative expression when you're really sad and disappointed with something. Okay, look, he said, and he pointed at the cliff. Not a sign of anything in the least resembling a diamond there. देखो यहाँ तो diamond है ही नहीं. Okay, the circle included nothing but a flat, slate-colored stone with one large hole where, oh, I'm so sorry. With one large hole where we had extracted the rock salt and one or two smaller depressions. No sign of the gem. So obviously पूरी पहाड़ चढ़ के गए हो और कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा, कोई diamond नहीं मिल रहा, तो obviously it's going to be very, very disappointing and depressing. So Tom, of course, was very eager and excited, but then he is very upset with it. Simple. बहुत ही simple narrative है. Let's move to the question. Okay. Let's talk about this particular question. What does the author mean in the sentence? I had begun, in fact, to look upon diamond as a most unmitigated nuisance. क्या लगता है आपको आंसर होना चाहिए? Unmitigated nuisance वो क्यों बोल रहा है? The author was concerned about the diamond? Not really. He did not look much interested. वो तो Tom के पीछे चला गया. Fine. The diamond least bothered the author. No, it was in a way he was a little irked. और वो न्यूसेंस लग रहा है उसको, तो बॉदर तो वो कर रहा था, उसको बग कर रहा था वो, तो बी भी नहीं होना चाहिए. The author found it a perfect nuisance to get disturbed by a diamond. Yeah, this could be, this makes sense. Okay, being disturbed by the diamond, he felt was a very nuisance, like he was getting bugged and disturbed by that diamond. Okay, he's having to scale a mountain where he knows probably that's not going to be. It can be a wild goose chase. Look at D. The author knew that it was useless to go in search of a diamond. Now, while some of you may pick D, but directly यहाँ ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं लिखा हुआ. हम अज्यूम करेंगे, अगर हम सोचेंगे कि उसको वो टोटली यूजलेस लग रहा था. जब तुम इन्फ्रेंसेस निकाल रहे हो, जब तुम किसी चीज का मीनिंग डिराइव करो जो डायरेक्टली स्टेटेड नहीं होता है पैसेज में, थोड़ा केयरफुल होना पड़ेगा. you'll have to play safe. You will have to avoid options which sound extreme. जब आप बोलते हो it is useless to search for it, I think ये एक्सट्रीम हो जाता है. हमारे पास में कोई एविडेंस नहीं है ये बोलना, है ना, कि यार बिल्कुल ही यूजलेस था, इसलिए हम सेफ प्ले करेंगे. हमको बस इतना समझ में आ रहा है that he is getting a little bugged by that, he finds it it's a nuisance, इसलिए हम C को सिलेक्ट करें. सेफ चॉइस C. नेक्स्ट, tell me, question 22. Which of the words closely resemble the meaning rueful countenance? Countenance is your expression. An expression that tells about your mood or about your feeling at that point of time, right? So countenance हो गया. Rueful is, yeah, I think sad, a little depressed. अब यहाँ पे देखो options close है. क्या लगता है आपको होना चाहिए आंसर? Should it be A, a deserted expression? हो सकता है. When you're like deserted, you're abandoned, you feel like ये क्या हो गया? एक्चुअली हीरे ने उसको अबैंडन कर दिया था, देखा जाए तो, राइट? सो ऑफ कोर्स डेजर्टेड एक्सप्रेशन हो सकता है. ओके क्लास, ऑलराइट. व्हाट अबाउट द अदर ऑप्शन? क्यूरियस लुक. क्या आपको लगता है वो क्यूरियस है? क्यूरियस लगता है आपको? आई थिंक ही वाज नॉट क्यूरियस, ही वाज वेरी क्लियर. उसको दिख रहा था कि डायमंड नहीं है. अब वो क्यों क्यूरियस होगा? ही माइट हैव बीन क्यूरियस इनिशियली लुकिंग फॉर द डायमंड, तो ये हो सकता है. हेटफुल अपीयरेंस, हेटफुल, नो, देयर इज नो हेट हियर, राइट? Hate कहाँ से आ गई? And when something has a hateful appearance, that is worth hating. That is so bad and dirty that people would hate it. Doesn't make sense. Worrisome but humorous. Worrisome तक तो हम मान ले, but humor is absolutely out of scope यार. तो सबसे safe A. I hope this is clear to everybody and there are no questions and queries. The next question. Part of speech पूछ लिया आपसे. Some words have been lifted from the past and they've asked you the part of speech. Okay, sanguine is defining a person. It is an adjective. Depression is a state. Okay, it is a noun. It's an abstract noun actually. And vacantly is actually the way in which an action was done. Hence, it's an adverb. Or ली करके है or vacantly. He stared vacantly. You can understand. So which option matches that? Adjective, noun, adverb. Option A. 24th. Which word would best present or depict personality of Tom? Tom की personality को कौन सा word describe करेगा? बताइए. क्या Tom contemplative है? What is contemplative? When you are seriously thinking about something, that is contemplating. है ना? When you're musing, when you are deeply thinking about something, that is contemplative. टॉम कॉन्टेम्पलेटिव लगता है आपको? नहीं, मुझे काफी इम्पल्सिव सा लगता है टॉम, है ना? He was very excited also. He was not thinking deeply. On tenterhooks, yeah, he was a little edgy. बेचैन था वो. He was very restless. Okay, so when you're on tenterhooks, you are acting in a slightly impulsive way, and you are very restless, and you are edgy, and you can't wait for something. Looks good. Voracious, मतलब chatora, somebody who eats a lot or who's a foodie or who's a gourmand, as I said, right? Genial is congenial, friendly, very warm. We don't get to know about whether he was a very friendly person or not. So we can't comment on that. The best choice is definitely B, beta. Are we done, class? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. तो class दम मत तोड़ो, ठीक है? बिल्कुल ऐसा मत सोचो. अभी थोड़ा सा और आगे जाएंगे. ओके क्लास, ऑलराइट. तो फटाफट हम एक काम करते हैं. एक ये पैसेज करते हैं, थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी बट बड़ा मजेदार, बड़ा मजेदार. ओके, आई हैव टू मे बी skip a few questions, but I'll wrap it up within 2 hours. That's my word to you. I'll try to keep it brief but to the point. Class, let's do this passage. It's very interesting, very very interesting. फटाफट करने की कोशिश करेंगे. I hope the screen is perfectly visible. Keep marking the important points. Understand really well. Salute to all of you who have been there with me throughout. I really appreciate it. Well done, students. Finish reading. Yes, I think if you're done, class, please, please, please tell me that you have finished reading. Done? Abhavya? Wonderful. Yes, people, come on, I need more confirmation. Finish reading? Wonderful, wonderful. Nice passage, yes? Okay, so even the questions are even better. Primary purpose, very much like the main idea. पैसेज क्यों लिखा गया, मेन बात पैसेज में क्या कवर हो रही है. Options can be slightly close. Evaluate the options very carefully. Keep eliminating the options. Finally, जो बचेगा वो perfect होगा, वो आपका correct answer होगा. Okay? All right. With the question number, please share your answers. Okay? I would be eager to see your responses. Question 26. Second para के बारे में बोला है. There were only 2 paragraphs, right? So it's talking about the second paragraph. Okay? What was the main function? Done? Done with this? Okay, great. Great class. The third question. There are only 4 questions. Yeah? And finally, the last question. Finally, the last question. क्लास इसके बाद में बहुत सारी इंटरेस्टिंग चीजें हैं, कुछ fill in the blanks हैं. An odd parajumbles odd statement. IPMAT Rohtak gave this peculiar question the last time, right? So we have picked up 2 questions of the type so that in case it comes, you should know what is the approach. All right? Yes, so I think you're through with it. Yes, I'm getting your responses. Well done, students. See, end result kya hoga, that's a different thing. But what is really important and what counts is your perseverance, your resolve or resolution. Okay, so if you give your best, I am sure that you will definitely win. So with this positive thought, let's try to understand the passage. So जो लोग हमें अभी जिन्होंने join किया है, you can actually go through the passage again with me simultaneously, and anyway I am explaining it. Brief में explain करूंगी आपको, important points बताऊंगी आपको. So what exactly is this passage about? It's telling you about insect behavior, and it has taken up wasp, which is a kind of an insect. उसका एक पर्टिकुलर बिहेवियर को स्टडी करके वो ये बताने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि insects don't have enough consciousness, right? And at the same time, they depend a lot on rigid routines and their behavior is not very flexible. That is the main idea. So let's understand this. Insect behavior generally appears to be explicable, matlab explainable in terms of unconscious stimulus response mechanisms. When scrutinized, it often reveals a stereotyped inflexible quality. I would say the first sentence itself speaks volumes about the passage, and the rest of the passage is merely an explanation of this particular sentence, followed by some facts or experimental evidence. Okay, And so if you understand the first sentence, you will understand the theme of the entire passage. कि insect behavior जो होता है उनमें थोड़ी unconscious stimulus response है. हमारे साथ में कुछ भी होता है एक्शन तो हम we respond in a particular way, right? We're very conscious about it. But in case of insects, it's not a very conscious process. Okay, they're doing it unconsciously. Fine. And when you closely scrutinize, you will see that there is an inflexible quality. They're not very flexible. Okay, a classic example is the behavior of the female sphex wasp. So wasp is a kind of a कीड़ा. Okay, and you know ये जो फीमेल वास्प है उसके बिहेवियर ये बहुत अच्छे से दर्शाता है. अब वो बताता है कि इन टिपिकल केस उसका बिहेवियर क्या होता है. ठीक है, वो जो मदर है वो जो उसके एग्स होते हैं उनको एक बिल में, एक बरो में अंदर रख देती है. ठीक है, और फिर उसके बाद में एक ग्रास हॉपर को वो अपने डंक से पैरालाइज कर देती है. फिर उस ग्रास हॉपर को वो क्यों कर रही है ऐसा? बिकॉज उसको पता है कि when the eggs will hatch, the larvae will come out and they would need something to feed on. So of course the larvae will feed on the grasshopper, right? तो of course ये उसका प्लान होता है. लेकिन she does a check before she deposits the grasshopper in the burrow. वो क्या करती है? She leaves it at the entrance and goes inside to inspect the burrow. वो है थोड़ी स्मार्ट. वो क्या करती है? वो सबसे पहले ग्रास हॉपर को बरो तक तो ले आती है, बिल के माउथ तक तो ले आती है, बट वो अंदर उसको वहीं छोड़ के अंदर जाती है, चेक करती है इज ऑल ओके, कहीं कोई प्रेडिटर तो नहीं है, कहीं कोई डेंजर तो नहीं है. ठीक है, if the inspection reveals no problem, she drags the grasshopper inside by its antennae. Scientific experiment से ये पता चलता है कि the wasp is unable to change its behavior जब उसके रूटीन में कोई भी डिसरप्शन आता है. जब उसको इंस्पेक्शन पे सब चंगा लगता है तो फिर वो क्या करती है? ग्रास हॉपर को उसके ओवी पॉजिटर से, है ना, उसके एंटेने से, सॉरी या बाय इट्स एंटेने उसको खींचती है और फिर उसके बाद में उसको ड्रॉप कर देती है. बट कोई भी अगर प्रॉब्लम आएगी उसके रूटीन में, वो फ्लेक्सिबल नहीं होती. It's not able to change its behavior. अब second paragraph is simply telling you about the experiments that were conducted. And there were very interesting experiments which were conducted. Charles Darwin ने क्या discover किया? If the grasshopper's antennae are removed, the wasp will not drag it into the burrow, even though the legs or ovipositor could serve the same function as the antennae. क्योंकि उसको बस दिमाग में उसके प्रोग्रामिंग है या हार्ड वायरिंग है कि मुझे क्या करना है, मुझे ग्रास हॉपर का एंटेना पकड़ के खींचना है. अब उसका अगर एंटेना तोड़ दिया हमने, ठीक है, तो उसको इतनी अकल नहीं आएगी कि यार मैं उसके लेग या ओविपोजिटर को भी तो पकड़ के खींच सकती हूँ. अल्टीमेटली आई हैव टू ड्रैग. सो इट इज नॉट एबल टू थिंक ऑफ एनी सडन चेंज दैट माइट बी नीडेड. ठीक है, वो कॉन्शियस नहीं है ना, क्योंकि उसका बिहेवियर बहुत ही अनकॉन्शियस टाइप का. फिर जीन हेनरी थे, उन्होंने तो बहुत ही खेल खेला यार, वास्प के साथ उन्होंने फुल खेल खेला. क्या किया? While a wasp was performing her inspection, जब वो अंदर जा रही इंस्पेक्शन करने, तो उन्होंने क्या किया? ग्रास हॉपर को पीछे खींच लिया फ्यू सेंटीमीटर्स अवे. तो वास्प बाहर आई और उसने ग्रास हॉपर को खींचा और दोबारा गई, फिर से इंस्पेक्शन किया उसने. यू गेट दैट, राइट? She began a whole new inspection. When Faber took this opportunity to move the food again, the wasp repeated her routine. Faber performed his maneuver 40 times and the wasp's response never changed. He kept on doing this for 40 times. हर बार वो अंदर जाए, वो फिर खींच ले, फिर वो ऊपर आए, उसको ड्रैग करके फिर इंस्पेक्शन करे. This kept on happening for 40 times and the wasp could not sense anything, any foul play, and poor chap, lady, poor insect could not understand anything and kept on repeating the same process. इससे क्या पता चलता है कि उनका रिजिड रूटीन है, वो उतने कॉन्शियस नहीं है, उनको उतनी समझ नहीं. ठीक है, ऑलराइट. तो बड़ा मजेदार पैसेज था, इंटरेस्टिंग था. The primary purpose of the passage is to, let's evaluate the options. Let's see them one by one. Prove based on examples that insects don't have consciousness. Looks okay. When you look at it in a superficial way, this looks fine and palatable. However, I have some problems here. Number one, we can't say that they don't have consciousness. In fact, their behavior is more towards the unconscious. थोड़ी unconscious stimulus response mechanisms की बात हुई है, ठीक है? तो ये चीजें हुई हैं, right? Secondly, there are no multiple examples, to be honest, right? Argue that insects are unique in their dependence on rigid routines. They are claiming that insects are rigid, but nowhere is it saying that they are unique. और भी लोग unique हो सकते हैं, ठीक है ना? Analyze the maternal behavior of wasps. Wasps का maternal behavior analyze करना. I think this is very narrow. This was not the main function of the passage. कि देखो wasp की ममता देखो, क्या कुछ नहीं करती वो अपने larvae के लिए, nothing like that. Argue that insect behavior relies on rigid routines which appear to be unconscious. Such a balanced and such a wonderful option, right? Okay. So 25 का आंसर है D. I hope you got it right. The second paragraph performs which of the following functions in the passage? Okay. Second para में क्या हो रहा था? हमें experimental evidence दिया गया. Simple, right? To prove that wasps actually follow a very rigid routine. It provides experimental evidence of the inflexibility of one kind of insect behavior. Why one kind of insect behavior? Yeah, because they were not talking about all insects in general. They just took the example of a female wasp, right? So this looks good. I'll put a small tick here. It contradicts the conventional wisdom about typical wasp behavior. What wisdom? No, we are not here to contradict insect की wisdom. वो objective भी नहीं था. Experimental evidence था. A clear winner है. I don't think I need to over explain the options. Wasp की ममता को बताने के लिए, oh come on, that was never the objective. Yeah, funny. It explores the logical implications of the thesis articulated in the first para. कोई thesis तो चलो मान लो कि वो उनकी एक theory थी कि wasps और जो insects होते हैं उनमें ज्यादा consciousness नहीं होती, but उसके कोई logical effects या implications discuss नहीं हुए, बल्कि experimental evidence discuss हुआ. A is going to be the right answer. The passage mentions the grasshopper's ovipositor in the second para in order to. All right, बताइए क्यों वो mention करता है? It only mentions this to highlight the fact that there was an alternative available, but wasp could not think of it. उसको चमका ही नहीं दिमाग में, right? So illustrate the wasp's inability to avail itself of alternative methods. This should be the answer. Why not A? Shed light on an anatomical peculiarity of grasshoppers. Seriously? Are we just trying to say, there's something peculiar about the grasshopper, that they have an organ named ovipositor? Certainly not. We're not sitting in a biology class, okay? That was not the objective. Provide a scientific synonym for the word leg? No. In fact, ovipositor जो होता है, आपको भले उसके बारे में ना पता हो, but ovi मतलब egg होता है. So it's not actually leg, it's actually a synonym. It's a different word, I would say. It's a synonym of an organ that through which it lays eggs. Okay. Concede that a grasshopper becomes more difficult to move when its antennae are removed. Certainly not. वो तो ये कहना चाह रहे थे कि उसका एंटेना हट गया था, तो वो अभी भी मूवेबल था अगर आप उसके लेग पकड़ के या ओविपोजिटर पकड़ के खींच लेते. Answer is clearly going to be B, beta. And finally, the last question. इसके बाद में हम बस थोड़े बहुत क्वेश्चन टाइप्स करके सेशन को रैप अप करने वाले हैं क्लास. The passage supports which of the following statements about insect behavior? बताइए क्या होना चाहिए आंसर? See, we are nowhere talking about snakes. And where are we saying that this is completely out of scope? Nowhere given in the passage. Many insects leave eggs. We cannot infer this also. अभी हमको सिर्फ wasp के बारे में बोला गया, तो we can't generalize. Stimulus response mechanisms in insects have evolved because under ordinary circumstances they help insects to survive. Where are we talking about evolution? Nowhere are we talking about evolution of the insects and everything. This is completely out of scope. D is the only option that makes sense. More than one species of insect displays inflexible routine behavior. बड़ा safe है ये, क्योंकि उन्होंने बोला insects in general. और एक का तो उन्होंने एग्जाम्पल दिया ही दिया है, वो है फीमेल वैस्प। तो कम से कम एक से ज्यादा तो होगी होगी, मतलब बड़ी सेफ लैंग्वेज का इस्तेमाल हुआ। सो डी इज द राइट आंसर। सो क्लास, आई होप आपकी एक्यूरेसी इसमें अच्छी आई। Can we have an accuracy check? Can you tell me how many questions did you get right? And by the way, we are done with passages. So meanwhile, आप मुझे बता रहे हैं अपनी accuracy. We now move to other question type. थोड़ा सा अब मैं कोशिश करूंगी कि हम कुछ चीजें skip करेंगे ताकि हम timely complete कर पाए अपना session. So I'm skipping one passage for you. And now finally, yeah, we come to this spelling वाला thing. Yes, class. रोहतक में स्पेलिंग बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस आते हैं। रीड द इंस्ट्रक्शंस वेरी केयरफुली एंड क्लास टेल मी, आपके हिसाब से क्या आंसर होना चाहिए? फटाफट शेयर करिए। या so the answer is clearly sepulcher. Sepulcher is basically a kind of a tomb. Sepulcher भी एक तरह का tomb होता है, tomb या मकबरा। Decanter is a wrong spelling. आपको बतानी थी correctly spell, मतलब बाकी तीनों गलत हैं। Osteoporosis में e आ जाता है, decanter में भी sacrilegious। सैक्रिलेज क्या होता है? ब्लास्फेमी, किसी रिलीजन को या किसी भी होली चीज को जब हम डिसरिस्पेक्ट करते हैं। तो स्पेलिंग बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस, आई वुड जस्ट से इफ यू नो द वर्ड, तुमने कभी ना कभी वर्ड देखा है तो देयर इज अ चांस। अगर वर्ड ही कभी नहीं देखा है तो फिर आप शायद नहीं बता पाएंगे, दैट्स अ प्रॉब्लम। लेट्स नाउ स्किप टू, ओके वी कैन डू वन मोर क्वेश्चन स्पेलिंग बेस्ड। या बताइए क्या लगता है आपको? Which one can be the answer? Okay, okay, class. Fine, let's drop this one for the meanwhile. Question number 36 पे बात करते हैं। I am running out of time. I want you to take up fill in the blanks and at the same time fill in the blanks के साथ में हमें odd statement जरूर लेना है, जैसे odd parajumble कहना है। तो fill in the blanks के दो question करते हैं, चलो। I think this is a very nice one, class. I hope you can do this. तो IPMAT रोहतक में डेफिनेटली फिलर्स आपको मिलेंगे। जैसे IPMAT इंदौर में मल्टीपल आपको फिलअप्स मिलते हैं, चार चार ब्लैंक्स के, तीन तीन ब्लैंक्स के। मोस्टली यहाँ पे यू विल गेट वन ब्लैंक और टू ब्लैंक्स। ओके, ज्यादातर यही पाया गया है। सो लेट्स ट्राई दिस वन। ओके, सो सबसे पहले स्टेटमेंट को अच्छे से पढ़ते हैं, समझते हैं। देयर इज ग्रेट अनइवननेस इन हिज लेटर प्लेज, राइट? सो व्हेन वी स्पीक अबाउट अनइवननेस, के यहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा अनइवन होता है, ठीक है, उनके प्लेज में चीजें बहुत अनइवन है। अनइवन है मतलब ऑपोजिट से सेम नहीं है, इवन मतलब सेम होता है, दे आर ऑपोजिट, दे आर वेरी डिफरेंट। देयर आर मोमेंट्स ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट डैश इन द मिडस्ट ऑफ ग्रेट डैश। So what do you understand from these two blanks? What can be the kind of relationship that we need, that can be there between the words fitting in the blank? हम बात कर रहे हैं अनइवननेस की, मतलब इवन मतलब सेम होता है, तो कह रहे हैं अनइवननेस जो है, इसका मतलब ये दोनों जो क्वालिटीज है वो ऑपोजिट टाइप की होनी चाहिए ना। अब यहाँ पे देखो, ल्यूसिड क्लियर होता है। When something is lucid, it is very clear, and when you feel enlightened, आपको और clarity आ जाती है, आपको काफी ज्ञान मिल जाता है। So definitely these are certainly not opposites. We're looking for something which is very opposite, starkly opposite, right? So this can't be the answer. Frivolity in triteness. Frivolous है, थोड़ा सा silly है। I've already told you the meaning of frivolous, आया था अभी यहाँ बीच में. और trite है मतलब बहुत ही, trite मतलब banal, घिसा पिटा, overused, cliched. When something is a cliche, it is overused, right? It's a platitude, as we can say, right? So trite है, frivolous है, opposites तो नहीं है, हमें opposite चाहिए. Insight, banality. इनसाइट क्या होती है? इन डेप्थ अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ समथिंग. और बेनल क्या होता है? जो चीज हम 10 बार सुन चुके हैं, घिसा पिटा, ओवर यूज्ड. दिस इज इंटरेस्टिंग. जब कोई चीज हम 10 बार सुन चुके हैं, दैट मीन्स इट्स अ वेरी कॉमन थिंग. बट कॉमन चीजों में भी इंसाइट मिल रही है, कॉमन चीजों में भी कुछ नया सीखने को मिल रहा है, इन डेप्थ अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो रही है. सो दिस कैन बी द आंसर बिकॉज दिस फिट्स इन ब्यूटिफुली वेल and this is also going to suggest the unevenness. So this can be the answer. Put a small tick here. What do you think about the last option? Before declaring, let us once check. Yeah, you need, of course, contradicting ideas here, right? Obscure. What is obscure? When something is not clear. And ambivalent kya hota hai? When something is, contradictory feelings, mixed feelings. Farewell party आपकी बड़ी ambivalent होगी. जहां पे excitement भी होगा that you are passing out of the school and you're going to get into college, but at the same time दुख भी होगा parting with your teachers, with your friends, with your school. तो ambivalent, right? Of course they are not opposites either. So आपका आंसर क्या होगा? For sure 100% C. Let's do one more question. बहुत आसान है, ये तो क्रैक कर ही लोगे. कुछ फील गुड क्वेश्चंस भी रखे मैंने आपके लिए. चलो फटाफट, show me your academic brilliance. Come on. Very nice, Aditi, Abhavya. Just for IIM, it's a live session. It's not recorded. Come on, you can ask me a question if you want. Yeah, बताइए. It's just that it is very difficult for us to constantly monitor all the chats. अगर मैं पूरे टाइम chats देखती रहूंगी, उन्हें आंसर करूंगी, तो जाहिर सी बात है मैं पढ़ाऊंगी कैसे, right? Fine. So let's have a look at this. According to Hume, it is not logic that determines what we say and do. If we decide to help a person in need, we do so because of our dash, not our dash. Very interesting. Hume कहते हैं कि it is not logic जो हमारे actions को determine करता है. It's not pure logic. We are not very logical beings. Whatever the way we act and we behave, it's also our emotions. Okay? If we decide to help a person in need, अगर हम किसी की मदद करने जा रहे हैं, हम logically नहीं कर रहे होते, शायद हम अपने emotions की वजह से कर रहे होते ना. उसने directly emotions की बात नहीं बोली. I have inferred this, right? So I was just trying to suggest that you've got to understand the thing and then look for options accordingly. Fine. Let's start plugging in the choices. We've understood one thing, that these blanks must have opposite words, contradictory words, yes or no. How do we understand that? Because of the word not. Okay, whatever we do, because of our dash, not our dash. So of course, these two blanks must have contradictory words. Let's have a look. Consciousness, emotions, and also they must be thematically correct. We do so because of our consciousness, not our emotions. But actually, I think it should be the reverse, right? We help someone, especially because of our emotions. And consciousness is not actually directly opposite to emotions also. So I would still feel that, this is not a very good option. We do so because of our duty, not our rights. They are synonyms. I mean, not direct synonyms, but milte julte words. And this is certainly not logical. Right? Feelings. We do so because of our feelings and not our reason. What do you mean by reason here? Logic. This refers to the reasoning. If I'm helping someone in need, I feel like sympathy for the person. So I'm doing it out of feeling. I'm not doing it for logic. Beliefs, convictions, they're synonyms. Can't be the answer. It's clearly C. So I hope you could crack this. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. So finally, we move towards odd statement. Class, I hope अब तक बने हुए हो, आपको अच्छा फील हो रहा है. I'm sure you are feeling confident. Yes, I'm sure you've got a nice glimpse of what the paper can look like, and you can prepare yourself accordingly. That was our objective. And this is the last leg of your preparation, I would say. And here, being positive is very important. Now, coming over to this is actually odd statement. It's also called odd parajumbles. So please understand the background. Essentially, there will be 4 sentences given to you. Let's hope that they don't give us 5 sentences. 4 is going to be easy for us. Now, in these 4 sentences, 3 sentences belong to a paragraph, and the 4th one is slightly off the mark. The 4th statement does not necessarily belong to the paragraph, right? So you have to mark that only. जो आपको odd लगता है statement, उसको आप select करोगे. Now, why is this also called odd parajumble? Because understand, there would be 2 cases. See, why are we doing this? IPMAT Rohtak में ये आ चुके हैं. 2 questions on this, right? So we've got to understand कि इसको कैसे करते हैं. Now, there are 2 possibilities, whether you are lucky or you are unlucky. Let's consider the possibility when you are lucky. तो जब आप lucky होंगे, if you are lucky, that is when that one option, that one statement will not even belong to the theme, और वो clearly समझ में आ जाएगा. For example, if we are talking about Russia-Ukraine conflict and describing something specific about it, that one option might talk about Russian economy, which is not even related to the war. So something may be related to it, but is talking about a different aspect. थोड़ा सा direct उसका part नहीं है. या फिर it might be talking about war in general and not the Russia-Ukraine war. So something that is आपको पढ़ के ही समझ में आ जाएगा और आपको बाकी सेंटेंसेस को अरेंज करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. दैट इज व्हेन यू आर लकी. बट व्हेन यू आर अनलकी, चारों के चारों सेंटेंसेस तुमको ऐसा लगेगा दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द सेम थिंग, एंड दैट इज वेयर द प्रॉब्लम स्टार्ट्स. सो उस केस में यू विल हैव टू अरेंज द sentences जैसे आप पैराजम्बल्स में करते हो. सो इन सच अ सिनेरियो यू विल हैव टू वर्क आउट अ पैराजम्बल्स. ठीक है, आप वो 3 सेंटेंसेस अरेंज करने होंगे और वो जो एक थोड़ा ऑड हो जाता है, ऑब्वियसली वो आपका आंसर होगा. कुड बी दैट ये सेंटेंस आ सकता है, बट यू नो आई थिंक ये प्रोबेबली दिस विल कम अ लिटिल लेटर, एंड आई नो कि यार ये 3 सेंटेंसेस तो एक के बाद एक चिपक के आएंगे ही आएंगे. इट वर्क्स लाइक दैट, right? So let's attempt this question. Padho, let's read all these statements and tell me what do you think is the odd statement. This is the second last question, the last question type that we're doing today. Yeah, class. So come on, try it. क्या लगता है आपको? Any inkling, any idea? Wonderful. Okay, Rishabh, you have given me the right answer. Is that so? No, I'll not declare it right now, because everybody then starts getting influenced. सब लोग अपना अपना दिमाग चलाओ. I think this one was easy. बनना चाहिए था. चलो पढ़ते हैं. This makes obvious sense when we talk about diversity of disciplinary backgrounds. We're talking about diversity, people of different backgrounds. Think again of the interdisciplinary team building a car. So it's talking about interdisciplinary teams. Okay, teams where people from different disciplines are working together. And it's giving an example of, making a car. All right. B. Research has shown that social diversity in a group can cause discomfort, rougher interactions, a lack of trust, etc. This is talking about some negative aspects of social diversity in a group, like discomfort, rougher interactions, lack of trust, etc. Look at C. When people are brought together to solve problems in groups, they bring different information, opinions, and perspectives. Now, this is also talking about social diversity, but this is speaking about it in the positive sense. कि जब अलग अलग बैकग्राउंड्स के लोग, डाइवर्स बैकग्राउंड्स के लोगों को तुम ग्रुप्स में लाते हो, So they bring different information, they bring different perspectives. So it's telling us about the positive aspects of social diversity in a group. And this is telling us about the negative aspect. Let's have a look at D. The key to understanding the positive influence of diversity is the concept of informational diversity. Now you've got to understand one thing. There are three sentences which are telling us the importance of social diversity in a group, right? And there is one sentence which is telling us about the negative aspect of diversity in a group. Don't you think so? It is pretty much obvious that this sentence is the odd one out. And here I was really lucky, I must say, because I don't have to set the entire sequence. Here I don't really need to go the extra mile and arrange all those sentences. Why should I do that when I've already identified that B should be the odd statement? Is that correct? Absolutely, Aditi. Fine. So I think this was a nice one. I hope you enjoyed this question. And finally, we come to the last question. All right. And I hope that you'll be able to crack this one for sure. Let's attempt this. What do you think should be the answer? Come on, class. It's a very nice question. It's an odd statement question. Yeah. Yes. All right. Do you think it is B? Really? Some of you think it is A. Many of you think Maulik, Prachi, Abhavya, Rishabh. Yes. Very well done. All of you are there. Okay, let's discuss this. Let's arrive at the answer. Over time, the intense power and purity of regular mediation. What is mediation? The process of mediation is when you try to resolve a conflict by mediating. दो parties हैं, दोनों में झगड़े हैं, conflict है, and I try to bridge the gap between them and resolve the conflict between them. Right? That is the mediation. है ना? फिर legally जाओ तो arbitration, conciliation, अलग-अलग forms होते हैं उसके. Right? Simple language में मैंने आपको समझा दिया. So over time, the intense power and purity of mediation removes all toxins, resulting in a serene, happy, and wholesome life. Okay. Much time and energy is squandered in scheming retaliation. When we continue to be obsessed with the wrong we face, unknowingly our entire being gets consumed by deeply ingrained anger, frustration, resentment. कभी हमारे साथ में हो सकता है कुछ गलत हुआ, ठीक है, होता है ये सबके साथ कभी ना कभी लाइफ में. We face something wrong and then we feel that there's so much of anger, right? And we feel so bottled up with the frustration and resentment. And over the period of time, this unhealthy clutter in our mind, it starts festering. So लगता है ये ना ये घाव पकने लग गया है, and it comes to the point where it turns into emotional, physical, and even psychological aberrations or deviations from standard behavior. So we start behaving in a very weird way at times. So this is telling you all, see, B, C and D are actually telling you about what happens जब तुम्हारे साथ कुछ गलत हो जाता है तो तुम्हें क्या क्या फील होता है. तुम काफी टाइम तक यही सोचते रहते हो कि मैं उस बंदे के साथ कैसे रिटेलिएट करूं, उसको कैसे जवाब दूं, राइट? यू फील लाइक इट्स टेकिंग अ टोल ऑन यू इमोशनली. ये सारी बातें हो रही और सडनली यू स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट मीडिएशन. ये आ सकता है बट ये ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम आएगा, जब आपकी उस इंसान से सुलह हो जाएगी, जब आपकी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चली जाएगी, फिर उसके बाद में यू विल बी एट पीस ऑल ओवर अगेन. बट दिस certainly is not a part of this paragraph. ये आएगा भी तो बहुत बाद में आएगा और उसके पहले बहुत सारी बातें होना होंगी. So certainly A is the odd one out. Right, class? So I hope you have got a nice glimpse of this question type. And finally, with this, we come to the end of this one short revision. Class, I hope आपने आज बहुत कुछ सीखा. The takeaways of this is that you got to know about the types of questions, the difficulty level, and trust me, it is doable, it is scalable. There might be that you don't know vocabulary or you don't know particular question type, but you can always work on a couple of things. Like you can always work on passages. There's still time. You can do something. And for all of you who've been preparing, I hope this was a nice treat for you. Yes. So that's all for today. Like, share, and subscribe. And whatever questions I've put up, you've got to answer them. I'll be waiting for your answers eagerly. Thank you so much. And we will come up again with one short revision for your favorite exam, IPMAT Indore. I'll catch you there. Bye bye. Take care. Study well. All the best.